What do Americans at this point think about Doggy, about Elon Musk's massive, wasteful, probably illegal boondoggle to shred government and make it even more incapable of doing anything other than what billionaires want? Well, overall, Americans seem in some base way favorable towards the idea of fighting waste or fraud. And of course they are. That's the entire reason that Elon Musk pitched this as being a thing about waste and fraud. That's not what it's actually about, but he knows that there is a hunger for dealing with waste and fraud. That said, that doesn't mean that they're actually on board with what he himself has been doing. So there are somewhat mixed feelings on the idea that government is inefficient. It's at plus 14 points agreement with that, which is the most obvious thing in the world. That means nothing. The idea that you can take that and be like, oh, so I get to kill Social Security. No, that's not what that means at all. Yeah, Americans are suspicious of government. That's obvious. The idea that Doggy was a good idea, I guess, is at plus 6. So that's basically split. But there's a lot of people that believe the branding. They believe the hype about what it's supposed to do. On the idea that it's doing a good job, that's where you start to lose them. It's at negative 12. And the idea that Musk himself is doing specifically a good job with Doggy is at negative 18%. So they like the idea that there's people looking into waste and fraud, which by the way, there already were. My God, if you think that Elon Musk came up with the idea of doing an audit, I feel really bad for the state of our country. But a lot of people do seem to think that. That said, they also can look at what he's doing and they know that it's not good. And so in terms of what should happen in the future, well, 33% say that Doggy should continue in some form. 33% say it's reckless and should stop now, so that is exactly split. 28% say it's needed but should slow down. So again, something should be done about waste and fraud, but not this. This is crazy. And 4% say there's no need to cut the federal government, which I don't even agree with that. So that's sort of weird at this point. So, and by the way, once you split it up amongst different political parties and everything, you get a lot of disagreement. I would assume that because there's still like I said, a big split amongst the public on what should happen with Doggy, I imagine what will happen is that they'll just continue doing terrible things that do long-term damage to our government. But maybe at least Elon Musk will be pushed out. We have really all of these different forces of the American people not liking him being involved in Doggy, Donald Trump apparently getting sick of him, the rest of the administration thinks that he's a cringy a-hole, and Tesla's like, maybe you should actually show up to work and earn your paycheck. All of that seems to be moving us towards a point where he steps back. But Sharon, what do you think is gonna happen?
Apparently there's no upside with this guy. No, there's even his father has talked nasty about him. Number one, this poll was a little too complicated for me. Like you, I don't know about that 4%. Most people don't want you wasting our tax dollars, right? That's it, that's it. They just don't want this guy with his short shirts in their face and his, what was that thing, chainsaw. They don't want to see him anymore. That's all it really is, okay? I think you should change the name, rebrand everything. It was a big mistake, like when Coke did new Coke, old Coke, classic Coke. Remember that whole thing? And they were the top of the band, they were king. And then they did this thing. And then Pepsi started going like this. They did the commercials and made fun of them because it was crazy. And the people probably behind it got fired. Where was I? Okay, so I didn't like the poll. Okay?
I think you were about to talk about RC Cola.
Oh, RC, who drinks that? And how is it still around? Is it still around? Yeah, okay. And I don't even know if it tastes like the others. But yeah, so he's gotta go, okay? And nobody likes him and they're putting out things on him. He's not saved a bit of, you said 150 billion. That's not even the right number. It's not gonna even be this much because remember, he was putting out lies. He's gotta go, stop this. We'll cut waste another day, but for now, he's gonna cost him more in lawsuits. From good people who, Social Security, what about the seniors? We're gonna end up having to bail people out. This guy's done a lot of damage in like 90 days, a lot of damage.
100%, and almost certainly, again, like they are almost certainly breaking the law in a variety of different ways.
Sure,
why not? The little twinks that he sends around himself to, but there's not gonna be any investigations because again, they're above the law. They can do whatever they want. They're part of the elite class. They can just break the law and it doesn't matter.
Can I tell you one other thing, just real quick? That email that he was sending out, I want you to list the 5 things by Friday. People have now been ignoring that. they're not even answering that. So yeah, he's breaking the law and doing some things, but it's over. Okay, no one's afraid of you anymore. They just want you out.
Yeah, 100%. Like he's the waste. He's the Doggy is the fraud.
Wow.
That's what it is. Let's move
Yeah.
past this. And so we'll see what happens. Again, I totally agree with that number too, the $150 billion. And again, cutting is not saving. Those are not actually the same thing. That's propaganda to just call it all savings. They're cuts, sure. But if there's something we need, something we earned by paying into it, and you don't give it to us, I haven't saved anything, okay? And so again, I hate the propaganda and the fact that so much of this has been normalized.